My boyfriend's mother is trying to control us, so I finally spoke my mind.
You should control her.
I, 24 female, am in a happy relationship with my boyfriend. I put mother-in-law just because it's easier. Todd, 22 male. We met in 2022 after I left a pretty bad relationship. I was in a physically harmful relationship, and when I broke up with him, I went straight to a guy in prison. Not my brightest moment. Oof. I was 21 at the time and felt lost. I broke up with him, then met my now amazing airplane-loving boyfriend. Not a pilot, just loves airplanes. By the way, this comes from Zealous Ideal Lake 8773, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, when we met, he was in college. He told me he didn't like college and that he didn't think he would do well with any kind of degree. He has never been a classroom type of guy and tried his best, but even with help, it wasn't working. He got so stressed from school, he would end up crying. He told me he was thinking of dropping out and just working. He said he always wanted to be a man that just works constantly. I told him to do whatever he wants. No matter what, I support you. I met his family a few weeks into us dating. His dad passed away from when he was about 16 years old. Although I never met his dad, I always felt close to him with all the stories he would tell me, plus the pictures he would share. He lived with his mother and grandmother, and his uncles would come around every week for Sunday dinners. When I first met them, I thought they were great. They had me over 2 to 3 times a week. I spent a lot of time with his grandmother, and I grew a bond with her. His mother, let's call her Sydney, raised Todd as a single parent. Before his father got passed away, they divorced. Todd's father struggled with a heavy drinking problem as well as Sydney. They both met in AA. Sydney was very judgmental from the start. I live in an apartment and she owns her own house. She would make fun of me for not having a job, as I just moved into the city 4 weeks before meeting her son. Don't worry, I'm employed now. She thought I was stealing her son's money and forcing him to buy me things. I was happy if we stayed in my room cuddling and watching movies all day. The real problem started after his grandmother passed away. His grandmother got sick and tried her best to get better, but nothing was helping. She was in and out of the hospital, and eventually they had to put her on hospice. It was extremely hard for Todd. Todd cried day after day. His grandmother was truly his best friend. His mother and him got into a super big fight the day she passed. We went 7 days without seeing each other because he was taking care of his grandmother. Understandable. He told me he was going to come pick me up because he was overwhelmed and needed fresh air. Just in case anything happened, we stayed in town. Literally a street over, we went to the park. His mother got mad because we were gone and she didn't want me in the house. I didn't step foot in the house. Todd got upset because Sydney invited Todd's childhood best friend. She doesn't talk to him ever, even when she is in town. They don't speak. I didn't want to go in because it was a personal matter, but it felt weird having his childhood friend being able to go around. His family got mad and screamed at me and him. Then a few days later, apologized and had me plan the funeral and the wake. Dang, they're making you do a lot of work here while also kind of harassing you.
Yeah, you're like, oh, we need you to do all this, but
yeah,
we have our own rules.
Yeah. This is just one instance of her being unfair to me, so I'll make a list. 1, got mad that I had work on Christmas. 2, got upset that Todd got me a ring for Valentine's Day, a promise ring. 3, got upset that he wanted to stay the night. 4, anytime we went on a date, she was mad she couldn't come.
This is just something like high school.
Every time we hung out with friends, she would call him at least 4 times, called me a moocher. I had money. We told her that he has cheated on me, asked for pics from another woman, and she blamed me. I mean, 1, that's a separate problem that he's doing that. But why did you tell her that?
This is all just very dysfunctional right now.
Told me I've never done anything for the family, yet I cleaned her house when she was out of state, cared for her mother when she was sick, took her son to the hospital 3 times, and made her son dinner when he was extremely sick. She felt the need to hold on to my medicine as well as Todd's and got mad when we said no. Those are just a few times. Now let's get into why I may be the a-hole. I know I am, honestly.
All right, spoiler alert.
Uh-oh. For the past few months, Todd and I have been talking about having a baby. He's 22 and you're 24?
And
you're still having problems with his mom?
Some things are not adding up here.
Aren't we ready for kids?
Yeah, I think we need to finish one obstacle first, and I think that's get on mom's good side or mom likes you.
Yeah. I have stage 4 endometriosis and PCOS. Being able to conceive a baby is gonna be hard. We told his mom and she lost her mind. She started screaming and yelling and telling us we need a promise to wait until our 30s. Today I got off work and I've been thinking about everything that was said. I wasn't happy, so I sent one last message. And this is the message that Opie sent. I'm gonna send one last message and then I'm done because this has been heavy on my mind since last night. You say you don't want Todd to have a baby for another 2 years or until he's 30. There are so many health risks waiting. It's a miracle Todd survived when you got pregnant at 40. Okay, well.
She's not going to like that.
Okay, that's. Hold on, OP. That's maybe a bad excuse. You could say that you just want to have kids at 2 and 24. That's fine.
Yeah.
But waiting 2 years is not like health risks develop like around 40. It's not, you're not going to develop health risks after 2 years.
It might be because of the PCOS or the
but she's saying, it sounds like her wording is like literally the longer, like any time. She's I have to do it now.
That's also very true, but that's later down the line.
Yeah.
Like
it sounds
30, later 30s. Yeah.
If you're talking about like your own, health risks, that's different. But in general, waiting until you're 26 is not gonna.
I think she's trying to get that point across to them. I think the mother-in-law is just trying to stop all of that with anything she can.
We're not waiting that long. This isn't your choice. Honestly, it's none of your business what me and Todd decide to do. He wanted to tell you for your support of him. I don't need or want your support. Therefore, if we want to have a baby now, we will, because we don't need your permission to do anything, as we are both adults. Since I've been around this family, I have realized the type of mother you are to him. You are extremely overbearing and extremely controlling. You had access to his bank account till he was 22, a grown man's bank account? That's actually insane. And the fact that you had forced him to promise, are you actually joking? He's almost 23 years old. If he wants to have a baby, he's going to have a freaking baby.
Oh my gosh.
You don't get to control him anymore. I also know you told him that we live in the ghetto. Who the heck are you to talk about my place that I live in? You're so materialistic and so judgmental. It's gross. I also was informed that you talked about my parents. For one, my dad doesn't agree with me because he says what I want to hear. He agrees with me because I'm right. You have no idea what the heck you're talking about. Leave my parents' names out of your mouth.
Oh.
I know everything you said. You aren't a good person and you aren't a good mother. The amount of trauma Todd has from you alone is unreal. But you don't want to hear about that because in your eyes, you're perfect. Newsflash, you aren't perfect. Don't worry, you'll never have to see me again. I'm so sick and tired of the disrespect when I've done nothing but love your son, help your son, and be there for your son because you don't support him in anything he wants. Why would he want to come to you for anything? I wouldn't. When we have this baby, because we're gonna have a baby and get married one day, you'll be lucky if they know who you are, let alone you seeing them. Have a good day. That was an intense text. I don't know if it was necessary.
All I gotta say is too long. Don't want to read that.
You know what'll make you have a good day? Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story. It does feel like OP is
I would have
a little bit naive and also the mother is controlling. I think both of those can exist at the same time.
We did get the spoiler alert that's like, I may be the a-hole in this part. And I was like, I know I am.
Yeah. I think you're aware that was a intense text that didn't need to be sent. I think you could have just as easily been like distancing yourself from the mother without having sent that.
It could have been written a little bit more maturely too.
Well, but also it shows that OP is not, mature yet, which is fair. You're 24.
Or was taken over by emotion. That also happens.
Both. But I mean, that
does happen.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it happens to any age, really. But
the one thing I was going to add is, did OP run this message through Todd first?
I doubt it. This does not feel like a message that Todd ever saw.
Yeah, like yes, this is your beef between mother.
Yeah.
About Todd's mom, but this is also like, you can't be defending your boyfriend's honor like that, or like speak for your boyfriend like that in that way to his mom. This should be him standing up for himself and for you too.
But there's a little bit left. She has talked badly about the place I live and my parents. She told Todd we need to wait either 2 years or until we're 30. His mother has never been nice to me. Well, she has, but this is what she does. She's nice to me one day, gifting me things and talking nice, then says things to Todd. I sent this message and Todd gets a call from his uncle. His uncle says she's crying, screaming, and shaking because of my message. That's an intense reaction, but also it was a lot.
You know why? Because Todd's got a new mommy.
Yikes. He also told us that she had an aneurysm in her heart, and if she passes away, it's my fault.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
Yes. Anytime I try to tell her how I feel, she cries, but she can be mean and hateful to me, and I just have to take it. Am I the a-hole? It's okay. If I am, I don't mind. Comment 1 says, not the a-hole, you just set a boundary, and the only reason she's so upset is because she is completely used to walking all over boundaries and making other people feel terrible to make herself feel better. Good for you on your shiny new spine. Opie says, my boyfriend even said that no one has ever talked to his mom the way I did. No one has ever stepped up to her. His past girlfriends went insane with her because they never stepped up to her. He didn't know what her reaction would be after I sent the text. His family is now calling me a bad person and cowardly because I did it over text, but she makes it impossible to do it face to face. Comment 2 says, drink consumption, especially excessive amounts, can contribute to the development of aortic aneurysm, which are bulges in the aorta, the main artery carrying blood from the heart. The fact that your uncle shared the news of her aneurysm with you after you tried to set boundaries is very telling. Mother-in-law owes her poor health to a lifetime of bad choices. It's her fault and no one else's, not the a-hole. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like, they can't blame you for her aneurysm.
Yeah, that's weird. That's on her.
Yeah.
She's just looking for a scapegoat, and lo and behold, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this should have been a conversation with Todd because he's like, no one's ever stood up to her.
Yeah,
Whoa.
like he also needs to learn how to stand up to his mother, like, which is something that you know, learn around that age. Like 22 is when you start to become more independent and you realize like, oh, I actually don't need to listen to everything my parents say because now have my own job or I have my own place and I'm becoming my own adult. So I think that, you know, like he does have to start learning that.
Yes.
But that is the end of the story.